be talking about capability statements. First, we're going to learn what the uses are of a capability statement, what the various elements of them are, and what are the things that you can do to make sure your capability statement stands out in the crowd. First of all, our definition of what is a capability statement. It serves as a door opener for your business when you're going after government contracting. It's used a lot when you're talking to agencies or prime contractors for government agencies, when they're doing market research, when they're looking for what kind of small businesses out there, women-owned small businesses out there that could help them out in doing what they need to have done. And oftentimes you're going to see it as a requirement of a solicitation, or when the federal government sources sought notice, when they're looking at, they're going to be asking for this capability statement from you. So what are the various elements of a capability statement? First off, we always recommend everybody call it a capability statement. And then you're going to have 4 key element areas. One is core competencies. One is past performance. One is your differentiators. And then we're going to talk about company data, and we'll go over what you should have in each of these sections. First of all, when we're talking about calling it a capability statement, it doesn't mean you still don't make it look like your corporate marketing. You want to create that strong brand identity. So you want to make sure you have your company logo on there, even though you're saying capability statement. Again, make sure it matches your corporate branding, not just your logo. So when you've put together your business cards, your website, you should have a cohesive marketing presence that makes it easy to identify your firm. Make sure your capability statement ties in with that look. And other than your logo, you also want to include your business name, your physical address, and a website. So they can go and look, they get that capability statement, you want to send them to the website so they can find out more information about your firm. The next section we call the core competencies. In essence, this is what you do. You want to headline this section, core competencies, because that's what they're looking for. But again, it's what your company does for your clients now. And you want to focus these areas on what your company does best. Now, if your company does a lot of different things, you're going to target your competency section to the things that the agency or prime contractor is looking for. Make it very specific. You're always going to tailor your capability statement to your audience. So you can target your various core competencies to that audience. And I've had a lot of firms that do janitorial work, say, but they also sell janitorial supplies. So they want to know 2 different things. You might be talking to 2 different buyers. Or, depending if they're looking for like a janitorial company that provides their own supplies, you can talk about that, but really target those competencies to what you can do. And then be very, very brief and specific. Make sure you focus on the keywords of what you do. We recommend using bullet points. So having that section header and bullet points on each of the types of things that your company does makes it easy for them to find the information they need. Past performance, I call this your reference section like you would have in a resume, but call it past performance. And here you're going to provide a brief description of the work that you've done, proving you can do what you say you can do. We recommend you give a brief description of the type of work that you did, the name of the client that you did the work for, and any contact information that you might have for them to check your reference. Make sure when, again, you tailor this, include the contracts or works that you did that match the solicitation or the response you're sending this out for. Target it so they know that you have the experience in the area that they're looking for. If your work does not pertain to that opportunity, then don't include it because they could care less. They want to know you can do what they want. I've provided a few examples of how we say you could write this up. Now, this is you as the prime, and I want you to know, as a prime, it doesn't mean a prime to a government agency. It can, but it can also be your commercial work. And here we talk about providing your services to this company. And I like you to throw in a little benefit there. So if you did, you save them time, you save them money, it's showing that not only can you do the work, but you do it effectively, efficiently, and well. And then talk about the size of the project you did, either in a dollar amount or like I'm throwing in janitorial, like if you did floor care and it's a square footage, talk about the size of the project that you did, because they want to know you can handle the size project that they're looking for. And then again, giving that reference information if you have it. If you did the work as a subcontractor, let's say you did a subcontractor, but you're doing work at the EPA, then you would say, as a subcontractor for this company, you provided these services, and then you could throw it that you did the work at the EPA or whatever facility. But again, giving similar information, the contact info there would be for the prime. And then if you don't have a lot of extensive experience, but you had really highly specific experience as an employee and doing what they're asking for, here's how you would write that up. And you would make sure they know that it was as an employee and not as you as a business. What not to use. Again, if the past project that you're talking about doesn't relate to their need that you're responding to, don't list it. And if you're giving them the reference information, the contact info, make sure they're still there with the company, because no one wants to reach out to a dead link. Now, this is the one section here, differentiators, that when I've helped clients with their capability statements, they struggle the most with, because I find a lot of small business owners are really, really good at what they do, but sometimes they're very uncomfortable in bragging how good they are at it. So this is where you're going to have to explain why use you. What are the unique features or the benefits of your products or services that set you apart from your competition? Why buy from you? Here are some different ways to think about it. And I give everyone these little thinking points here to get you on that thought process of what does make you stand out. What's your unique selling proposition? So a couple things you can ask yourself. You have a customer that keeps coming back to you over and over again. Why? Why do they keep coming back to you? That's a differentiator. They're coming back to you for a reason. And again, if you're looking at why your company is the best choice for the needs of that agency, what is it that makes you stand out from the competition? If you're supplying products, are your products superior, provide a superior performance at a less cost, greater volume? What is it that makes them better? If you're providing a service, what kinds of certifications or things that you can say that your service has that your competition doesn't? Do a SWOT analysis on your competition and figure that out. What is it about your staff that gives you an advantage? Are you located close by so you're not going to have the travel or shipping costs that your competitors might have? Different things that you can think about when you're putting this section together. Again, make it short and to the point. We recommend calling this section differentiators. But I like using bullet points because it just makes it stand out, tying in on those keywords. Make sure your differentiators are focused on the needs of the buyer that you're communicating with. And always highlight the benefits of your products or services that are beneficial to the customer. And provide very, very specific examples. Provide proof. Here are some things not to use. Socioeconomic certifications do not belong in this section. Generic statements, one size does not fit all, in marketing speak. These are just a few examples that you're best in class, you're an industry leader, you provide outstanding customer service. That bothers me a lot. Quality committed, be specific. What makes you best in class? Did you receive awards to prove that you're best in class, that you're an industry leader? What makes you an industry leader? Are you providing really innovative products? Are you tops in sales for your area? And this is one I always ask my clients about because they say this all the time: outstanding customer service. Don't say that. What makes your customer service outstanding? For example, do you have a 24-hour customer service line? Or if not, do you have a guaranteed time that if someone contacts you, you contact them back within 24 or 48 hours during normal business hours? Quality committed. Do you have a quality control plan? What's your quality specific ISO, all sorts of different quality plans that you can talk about. Be specific on what your quality is. Company data. Now, this is where you're going to talk about all the codes that government contractors and prime contractors care about that nobody else does. So if you're responding to a federal solicitation, you don't need that DUNS number anymore. They care about the UEID and the CAGE code. And if it's a state government or a local government, put that you're registered with them so they know you're ready to do business. Put in the codes that pertain to that entity. Federal government cares about NAICS code, PSA, FSC codes. State of Ohio cares about UNSPSC codes. Other agencies use NAICS codes, some use NIGP codes. What codes does that government agency use to identify your business? Include those codes. Do you already have any government contracts? You can list those contract numbers like a GSA schedule or a blanket purchase agreement. You can put those in there. Here's where you put your socioeconomic certifications. Whether you're a small business in the federal government, WSB or EDWSB, or if you've got the WBENC WBE certification, you'll put it there. 8A, HUBZone, SDVOSB, all the ones, depending on the entity that you're speaking with, put the certifications that apply. If you're putting that you're certified as a WOSB, EDWSB, that's no longer self-certification, as WBENC can tell you. So make sure if you put that on there that you are actually certified. Again, vary by agency, tailor it to your audience on who you're speaking to. Some prime contractors will take the WBE, they don't care about the WSB. So be specific and make sure you're including that in there, the right codes and the certifications. So here's my little summary. You want to put your summary in there on your company. You can talk about you've been in business for so many years. You've been financially stable. Again, include this in that company data section. And always, always, always include somebody's name, their email address, and their phone number, office or direct line, because the government likes to speak to somebody, know who they're talking to. And I've seen a lot of times people forget to do that. So I recommend trying not to use a generic email, or if it is a generic email, put someone's name and try to get that direct phone number, not a operator number or something like that. Now about appearances. You don't have to make it fancy, just have to make it, again, match corporate marketing, make it clean, easy to read. Don't overwhelm it with too many colors and fonts. If you use a color background, oftentimes it can make it difficult to read. And I always think about too, if you're using colors, think about people who might be colorblind when you're putting this together. You want to make sure anyone can read it. Make sure your copy is very crisp and to the point. Don't put a lot of superfluous marketing speak because I don't care. Always use of those recommended section headers to organize your text to make it easy to find and readable. Again, make sure it matches your corporate look. And then you're going to want it in two different ways. You're going to want to save it as a PDF file. And you're going to want to print it on some nice paper. You don't need to go over the top. I've been at some events where people have handed me laminated capability statements. You don't need to go that far. That's expensive to do. Just make sure it's on nice, pretty solid paper, not see-through, not too flimsy. Another thing I like to recommend on your capability statements, and I recommend this to my clients, Think about putting a tab on your corporate website for government contractors and put the information from your capability statement on your tab for government contractors. Another little hint I want to talk about, when you're doing this, when you're try to come up with your past performance section. Instead of recreating the wheel, this is something I've done in the past. Every time I successfully completed a project, I wrote what I call the success story, where I talked about what I did and how it helped the client, and I kept it in a library. And so when I needed to market to somebody new, I could go into my library and pull in an appropriate success story for my past performance section. And then I'm not recreating the wheel every time. This will help you too, even on submitting proposals, because a lot of times when you're looking at proposals, they want some nice, more detailed information on some of your past performance. Keeping that library on your computer organized by project type makes your life a whole lot easier. Before you put your capability statement, do your research on the agency or contractor that you're responding to or reaching out to, and look at what they're doing. Make sure the information you're providing is the type of information that they need. And don't waste their time by not knowing what they do and what they require. Do your homework. It makes you seem like a much more reliable contractor who knows what they're doing and can solve their problems, because in essence, that's what they're looking for. When they're looking for someone to market to them, to respond to them, they've got a problem they're looking for you to solve, and they want to see in your capability statement why you are a good problem solver for their needs. Now I'm going to tell you about Apex Accelerators. If you haven't heard Apex Accelerator, you might have heard of PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. That's what we were known as until February, but we are a grant-funded entity for me and my office in Central Ohio. We receive funding from the Department of Defense's Small Business Office, the state of Ohio, and my office, Ohio University. And that means all of that grant funding means we provide free services to you, the business community, for me here in Ohio. We do it with free one-on-one client appointments, and we do group training events with partners like WeBank, and doing things on our own with other partners as well. We assist our clients with federal, state, and local government procurements. We help you navigate how to respond. We help you get registered. We help you with the capability statement. We help you with various certifications that are required at all levels, federal, state, and local. We help you understand those government legalese solicitations and understand what they're asking for. Even once you get a contract, we can help you during the performance, like invoicing, trying to make sure you get paid, getting your invoices submitted correctly, and so on. We also offer a free bid matching service that looks for opportunities for you to bid on free of charge. We do about 3,800 different government websites across the country that we search for you on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. If you're interested, again, it's all free to you with that grant funding. That's our address. You get registered, we set up an appointment, and we help figure out where to go and what to do. And we work with our partners to help you get there. This is my contact information, where I'm located in the Central Ohio area. And I've got one more item I want to share. I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to show you, I've put together like a sample capability, a statement template I'm going to show with you. This is what I give to my clients. And if you give me 1 second, I'm going to share that too. There we go. And here it is. So this is like a little template. Again, I stress always that it should look like your company's marketing, but I've put together this little template I usually hand out to my clients that gives you an idea about, see, there is that word capability statement, but there's your company name and logo, and there's your sections, core competencies, differentiators, past performance, contact info, codes, and so on, that I can share with anybody who might be interested. I know this is quick and sweet and to the point, but I want to make sure I'm here to answer any questions. And if anyone has any questions for me, I'm open to answering them.
So this is Rhea, and I do have a question. That's a
Hi,
lot of
Rhea.
that's a lot of information to put on one piece of paper. Can you share, is it fonts? I mean, how do you manage that and keep it to one sheet?
Well, I do recommend that you try to keep it to one sheet. Mostly because a lot of the government bodies, they get a lot of them. And my concern always, if people go multiple sheets, sometimes if they don't see the information that they really want to know on page one, they may not look at page two. So that's where I think tailoring it comes into play. Only including the information that is pertinent to who you're speaking with and the opportunity that you're looking at going after. And that's where keeping that library of past performance, coming up with the differentiators that are pertinent to everything can help. If you need to go on to 2 pages, make sure your pertinent and most important pertinent information is on page 1. Or, maybe put only, like for past performance, you only want to include your past performance over the last 3 to 5 years and only include the ones that are most pertinent. I usually recommend keeping it to 3 or 4. You don't have to put every contract you've ever held. And if you've got a lot of codes and certifications, only put the ones that they care about. If it's federal, put your federal. State, put your state. Local, put your local. That can help condense down the information. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you. I guess I was thinking if you do 3 to 4, and you just have to have just very specific words.
Yes.
It's doable. They're not looking for a narrative. They're just looking for bullet points.
Bullet points that you did this, you saved this company money, and that's if you have room. But you did this. This is how big an order you fulfilled, how big a service you did, how many years you did it. They want to look at your capacity and proof that you can do what you say you can do. And you can work with WeBank, you can work with us, and we'll review it with you and give you feedback.
Thank you.
Hi, Karen, this is Lucretia. That was going to be my question, is if you all have a service where when we work on our capability statement, where we can meet with someone to kind of review it and get some feedback.
Absolutely. We do it all the time. All the time. Yeah. So if you're okay, so if you want to work with Apex Accelerator, you do have to register as a client. And I'll put up my PowerPoint again because I have the website on there. And let me go to my screen where that is. You can see it right there. Whoops. There it is. apex.ohio.edu. So if you're here in Ohio, you can go to that website and register. If you're not here in Ohio, I don't know where all you're from, there is an Apex Accelerator in every state. And this is my contact information. If you're not in Ohio, feel free to reach out to me and I'll direct you to the right office. If you're here in Ohio, just register on one of our counselors. We're in every county in Ohio, and we'll set up an appointment and review your capability statement with you and make recommendations. We bring out our red pen. And I don't want you to think you can only have one capability statement too. That's also a misconception. You can have multiple. And it's a living, breathing document, kind of like a business plan. You get a new contract that might be more pertinent. You're going to switch out your past performance. You get a new award. You might want to be adding that. You get a new certification. It's always going to a living and breathing document, and customize it. And you can have, if you do different avenues of work, you can have different capability statements for your different avenues. You can do one for federal, one for state. If you do products, you can do service. Create different capability statements for your different markets. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you.
Sure. We love helping on capability statements. Are there any other questions?
Hi.
Hi. I can't hear you, Cynthia. I don't know.
Putting together.
Oh, there we go.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, you know what? It's showing my internet is unstable, so I'll just email you.
Oh, okay, Cynthia, that's fine. Or you
Right.
can put it in, or you can put it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I have seen it. Well, thank you, Catherine, for having me on here and talking to everybody today. I know I threw a lot at you, and if anybody wants a sample of that template that I put together for my clients, you can also reach out to me. And I can send that out to you if you think it would be helpful. Oh, here's Cynthia's question. Do you provide assistance with preparing bids for contracts, subcontracting, or in large construction companies for jobs backed by HUD? I would say reach out to your Apex Accelerator and we can take a look. I've helped people with their submissions for subcontractors and as primes. So, you know, just reach out and we'll help you read through the paperwork and figure out what you need to do. If it's a job backed by HUD, you better probably make sure you're registered in SAM. We've been doing a lot of that work. Before I moved to the Central Ohio area, I was doing a lot of that, helping construction firms get into SAM for HUD-backed work for the city of Cleveland. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I either overwhelmed everybody or it was so good you don't have questions. Catherine, I think I can turn that back over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Karen. That was really great information. We definitely appreciate your time today and you all's time for joining us today and hearing from Karen. Hope you got some helpful tips to help you with your capability statements. I will say we do have a brief survey that will be going out. So please give us your feedback on how this event went. If you had any questions that Karen didn't get to, she did share her information, so please feel free to reach out to her. And I would also say, look on our website and our social media pages if you haven't already to see our upcoming events. And remember that Catch the Wave is coming up this August 28th through the 30th in Columbus. So if you're not registered already, you can go ahead and register before prices increase on July 29th. So thank you all for joining us today. That was a great informational session, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next event. Thank you.